share with you just what the purpose statement is of Tucson Ministry Alliance. The purpose for this organization, and we really use the term organization loosely because it is the body of Christ is who we are. And that's why we are inviting you to connect here at this luncheon and to do other things in the community. But as the body of Christ together in our city, we are here to address the issues that would burden the heart of God. We hope that by sharing what the problems affect our neighbors, that we can partner to bring God's grace to all through holistic ministry. We believe that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And we desire to see Jesus lifted high and given the honor and the glory that he deserves, as he is the ultimate solution in Tucson. Can I get an amen to that? Okay, I know it's lunchtime and it's a little slow, but that was the response that was made. We welcome the assistance of those who don't believe as we believe, but still care about what we care about, and realize our limitations in facing the problems in our city. Our focus at this stage of our development is encouraging relationships and partnership among the many varied parts of the body of Christ. Hence, all you parts out there that are here today, we appreciate the fact that you came to share this time as we're going to be learning today about youth and different aspects of the ministry going on in our community for youth. In a few minutes, our keynote speaker, the Honorable Judge Ronald Wilson, will be sharing some things with us. But before we do that, normally what we do is we have our speaker first, then we have some testimonies of how God is using and working in our community in the area. But right now I want to invite Don McNeil with Mentor Kids USA to come up with the people he's going to be having with him and share.
David, Vic, come on up.
Yeah. I just thought they'd follow me. Okay. Now, Don, Don is going to take for a few minutes and just share with us some of the things that Mentor Kids USA is doing, because this is the model of one of the things in the areas in Tucson that we think is really working well. And before anybody gets hurt, go ahead, Don.
Thank you. All right. How you guys doing? Good. Great. It's great to be here. It's great to be alive. It's not blowing wind out here today. It's awesome. Real quick, how many remember Chuck Colson? Okay. Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons that I'm up here. And before that, I wanted to know that Pat McClain. Where's Pat? Pat, did you guys know that Pat used to be addicted to brake fluid? But he's okay now because he can stop at any time. Pat doesn't know I had long pants. He's going, man, look at this. If you're a football coach, you don't wear long pants. I mean, it was cold yesterday, so I thought we were doing. But when Chuck Colson went to prison for Watergate, came to Christ, started prison fellowship all over the country, and they started one mentoring program in Phoenix called Match Point. Later became known as Mentor Kids USA. And I hooked up with them a few years ago. I'd done Youth for Christ for 10 years, some of you know. Then we did one-on-one mentoring, one-on-one partners. We changed it to mentoring because we kept getting calls for dates, and that wasn't working. So we changed it to one-on-one mentoring. I couldn't get it there. And so we now have both programs. We have one-on-one mentoring, which is a community-based program, and Mentor Kids, which is the faith-based program. Very similar to Big Brother, Big Sister. What's the need? The need is that in Pima County, we have over 20,000 kids who have one or both parents in prison. You say, is that a lot? Yeah. There's about 16,000 in San Diego County with 2.1 million people over there. So it's like more than double in this county. We have another 5,000 or 10,000 kids in foster homes and group zones. So we have about 30,000 kids that are living in single-parent homes or some situation where there's not the original parents. In Pima County, and this is going to shock you because if you haven't heard this, Barbara LaWall shared this with me about a year or two ago. Only about 25% of the homes have both biological parents still in the home. And we're wondering why we're struggling, okay? So we've got our hands full. And one thing we've been doing is finding great quality mentors to work with young kids from 5 to 17, and mentors from seniors in high school to 89 is the oldest one we've ever had. Down in Green Valley was teaching the kid how to play golf. I mean, for free. How bad a deal is that? And the one thing that I want to really emphasize, and you guys all know this, so I'm preaching the choir here, but we are all responsible to take care of the orphans that the Bible talks about. And these are kids who are fatherless. Not just motherless and fatherless, but if they're fatherless, they're orphans, okay? And one of the most wonderful young men I've ever met, and I've worked with thousands of kids, is right here. This is David McDonald, okay? Right? And another amazing guy that is his mentor is Victor Yates. And Victor, if some of you remember 5 years ago when Palo Verde High School won the state championship, Victor was the quarterback. And then he played at the U of A for 7 years. Oh, no. No, he's officially done now. But he's working as a developer, in the athletic department, and loves the Lord, and just been a tremendous blessing in my life. And the last guy that came up today is Victor Garcia. And Victor has been a police officer here for many years. And, he is now in the process of raising support. He didn't know what that meant. I told him, and he's decided to still work with us. And so he's been a police officer for years, and came to fall in love with the Lord within the last year or so, and has just been a tremendous blessing to me and to our staff. So I want to take real quick, Victor and David, come back. Come on over here, guys. So, first of all, what made you decide to become a mentor to, in this case, David?
Just growing up as a youth, my mom, she's been in prison since I was 5, and I was 5, but he was never around. So just growing up and me being blessed by God to have the success that I had, knowing that that's not an everyday thing though, and that other people need mentors. And the mentors that I had around was something that I always say was a gift from God, because they were like good at sports, or I could always find an aspect that was from the mentors around me, just from life situations. The positives I drew myself to, and the negatives, like whether it was smoking or drinking or whatever it may be, those are things that I cut out because I was focused on trying to play football in college. So I used them as almost like I was almost feeding off of everything that they did and watching and say, okay, I got to practice hard and this and that. But I know that kids don't have mentors. And I always say if I would have had a mentor, I think I'd be a lot better off than I am now. So trying to make an impact.
I walked in my office about a year ago. How long has it been? It's been about 7, 8 months ago. And the red lights blinking. And I picked it up, and there was a message. And I heard this young boy's voice, and it said, "Hi, my name is David, and I'm just wondering if this program might be good for a boy like me." I went, "Yeah, I think so." And, I called him up, and he happened to be home from school that day. We won't talk about why, but he was home that day, and didn't have anything better to do, so I picked him up and I think I got him out of bed that morning. And we went to the U of A, and that's where he met Nick Foles, who's the starting quarterback this last year, who was a mentor in our program. I'm using names here. And he went and actually introduced him to Victor. And that's how we connected. And Victor he's actually family. They've actually gone, when they were little, they would go up to Salt River and go down to Salt River together. So they've known each other. Dave, what's been the best thing about being in Mentor Kids and having Victor for a mentor?
Just like hanging out, going to church and stuff. Like, it's been real fun.
Come on.
I don't really know anything else. When we're like together, we just have a lot of fun. It's like a lot of laughs.
That's good.
Victor school, work harder in school?
Yeah, definitely. Because I see him like he's successful, and I see what I can do has helped me a lot through school and stuff, and raise my grades. So yeah, I think he's big help.
That's right.
And Victor, why would you recommend others to become a mentor in this program?
Just because I think from just a life perspective, you can easily see like just Jesus and the discipleship that he put around the impact of trying to reach out to others. So if you call yourself a Christian,
Come on, man.
you should be able to make an impact on others, especially when they have a desire. It's not like I'm underneath his door every day. Poop, poop, poop. Come on. He's calling me, and he has that hunger to just be better. So as we have the knowledge that we've been blessed with in the relationship with Jesus, we got to pour it out to others. So to be a mentor, is, I think it's a key thing, and it's not something. I think there's a big misconception out there that you're going to spend 8 hours every week out of your week with a person, but it's one of those things that you go as the Lord leads you, and whether it be an hour a week, 30 minutes, or it can even be a whole day of it. But it's one of those things that you don't know the impact you make on other lives until years later. And it's one of those things that, for me, I'm always just trying to put myself out there as I'm available, because we do have the time.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, last thing I want to say. If you would allow us, prayerfully pray about it, but we would love to come and take 5 minutes. We can do it in 5 minutes at your church, before your men's group, women's group, whatever, and let them know that God is trying to connect with them and tell them that they need to become a mentor for a kid. Like I said, we got thousands of kids in this town. There are enough mentors in Pima County, but they're not stepping up. We got about 75 kids on our waiting list, and at the end of the year, half of those won't get a mentor and may never get a mentor unless you help us and get involved. So we're in this together. God bless you guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks, you guys. Good job.
There are a number. Do I have it on now? And I'm only in radio. I only work with microphones all the time. So anyway, there are a number of youth organizations represented here today that we invited to be part of this, and there is information out on the table just outside the door here for their organizations. We also have our ministry resource table. We ask that you not share about your ministry at the tables and put literature down, but there is a ministry resource table. Please, if you're in ministry, representing any ministry in Tucson, bring those with you and set them on the table so that those are available for everybody after. And we ask the ministries just to kind of hang by the table, so if there's any questions, you can ask them at that time. Now, the person that we have